Welcome to another episode of Southern Two-Lane Podcast. I'm Randy B, and to my right is...
DJ Seeley.
And to the other right, is there another right?
John
Distant
Woody.
right, John Woody. Guys, it's been a while, and we've been making some changes. As you can see, we've got a little more of a setup here, and I don't know, it may be changed again before we do another one of these things, but for the time being, we're claiming we know what we're doing, but I'm not sure that's true. John is back with us. He's been off. He moved away, but he's visiting back for the night and graced us with his presence and popped in on us. So we're going to ask him to sit in on a episode or two here, and we're going to just kind of catch up. John, what's been going on, buddy?
Hang on, we can't go much further because I got a thought on my mind. So, you were talking about the setup looks different. I was sitting here thinking, man, it's Christmas time, and Ozempic Santa has stopped in and hooked us up.
That's not fair.
Wow.
So moving along, John Woody, what's up, buddy?
Well, I got converted over to Wegovy. Does that count?
I have some Manjaro, and you want me to bring it out here and set it on the table for advertisements?
Or old farts?
Right.
See, I missed this.
And we can make an old episode of old fart issues.
Well, that's your own fault,
Right.
Hong Kong Foo Panda.
I ain't gonna tell you what's broken on me. It's where the sun don't shine.
Right.
Oh, Lord have mercy. So, John, as you guys know, we talked about this in an earlier episode when we came back online here a few weeks ago that John had moved away, but he has not lost touch of things. Obviously, we're picking back up where we left off. But you've been doing your own thing down there, and what does that consist of between riding and mechanics and working and life and family? And
Yeah, it's different. You know, the riding's different. Culture's kind of different. But trying to, we had good relationships with a lot of dealerships around here and local contacts. But down there, it's just not all one family owned kind of. With the three local ones here to where y'all are at are owned by the kind of the same people. But
Right.
Down there, you've got Mobile Bay and Pensacola, and then you can stretch over into Mississippi's got just changed ownership. Their Gulf location, can't think of the name of it right now, Hurricane maybe or something. But anyhow, but yeah, developing relationships with them. Of course, Mobile Bay's got some new general managers, and they're doing a lot of good things.
that is an old,
Yeah,
rundown building.
it is, and it's kind of ironic because if you follow dealer news on social media, you see all these dealerships shutting down, and I think I don't know the details of it, but it has something to do with where their location is,
Right.
in near an exit off the interstate, and does it have the new look? And so when you look at that dealership, it doesn't. I mean, it's right off the interstate, but it's not a very convenient exit. I mean, you feel like you got to get off and take 7 rights to get to it.
Well, the maps let us off one exit
Yeah.
and then worked our way through neighborhoods to get over there. And then when we left, we went down to the next exit. Like there was about a 2 or 3 mile stretch on the interstate that we couldn't get off and get on.
Well, as frustrating as what you just described sounds, that's the best way. But no, just developing relationships with them, and different roads, trying to find roads. Believe it or not, obviously along the coast, there's a lot of beautiful scenery, but they're flat, straight
Yeah.
roads. So working back more inland, some rural country, see a lot of farmland, but there's some, as you get down to the Alabama Amazon, as they call it, around the rivers, coming back north, there's some good roads. Some right there by my house.
Yep. 59 gives a really, if you got on 59 at where it starts, which is the
T,
yeah,
it
the
goes
hangout.
towards-
So if you get on right there and ride it as far as it'll go, it alone takes you to some different areas between town and
Yeah.
passing under 10 and then 65 and then through farmland, country land, and even some roads that we saw that were like I could ride an ADV bike off of that road.
Yeah, especially once you get up into Monroe County, up towards Monroeville,
Yeah.
and north of there between Monroeville and Camden.
Right.
There's a lot of good, like 41, is it 41, 21? I can't remember.
Yeah.
It's been washed out, so I don't know if you went that way, but yeah, there's some good roads, a little river basin kind of cutting beside it. So.
A lot of podunk towns through there.
Yeah.
They were, we used the term in the South one horse town
Yeah.
back in the day, and they were still in existence. There was one there that we pulled up, and then we had to take a sharp left back for our route. I can't remember what the highway numbers were, but
It sounds like where you're going 59 to 21 in Uriah, Alabama.
I believe you're right. But the
So I have a story to tell about that. We'll
the
stop
white
right there.
store, the old wooden store that has steps up into the store, gas stations, they were closed. It was Sunday, but the gas stations were hot, so we were able to get gas. But it was the drugstore. It was the
Oh, that's in Purdue Hill. I know exactly what
Yes,
you're talking about. Yes,
that's right. Now
yeah,
that you're
Purdue
saying
Hill. It's the taxidermist, the
Post
fishing,
office.
the post
It was-
office, and there's 3 little old ladies that run it, and they're just sweethearts.
Yep.
I promise you.
But they had everything, and
Yeah.
they looked, and it was all up to date stuff. It wasn't like it had 30-year-old moon pies laying
Yeah.
on the shelf. It looked like it up to date. So,
Yeah,
but,
that's right
But it
there
was
on top
funny
of the
because there was
hill,
a post
Purdue Hill.
office sign right there that said United States Post Office, zip code 35 whatever or 36. So.
yeah, I
Get
stopped
down there in Mardi Gras town. There ain't gonna be no moon pies that sit on a shelf long.
No, they
No,
proud of
They
the
go
moon
through
pies.
them down there.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
Yeah, you gotta be careful at that moon pie drop though. It gets a little dangerous.
Real colorful.
Last 2 years we've been down there like, no, let's not go. And they've had issues, but they're working through them. City Mobile.
Well, I mean, anytime a moon pie falls to the ground, there's
Yeah.
Yeah, well, John and I were talking today. We've got, I don't know when this podcast is going to air. Probably by the time it does, this will be come and gone. But next week we've got the last ride of the year. Am I saying that right?
Annual last ride of the year.
Yeah. And I had to call him today and have him remind me whether my bike was 1 down, 5 up, or 5 down, 1 up.
it's been so long since you've been on it. I cranked mine up in the garage the other day and revved it about 3 times just to fill the shop here with fumes so I could sniff them for a while.
Right.
Because
Right. And then I was riding down the road and I just had this epiphany, like, I know why Daytona is the first rally of the year now.
Yep.
It's because everybody needs Florida to relearn how to ride.
Truth.
So it started in Daytona
Yeah.
where it's flat and straight, and then you
then
progress.
Progress north. Well, and of course the weather has a lot to do
you,
with it too.
you go
but-
north and west from
Yeah,
there.
that's true.
Yeah, so I don't know much about. I didn't get to attend last year. I've only lived down there, but this event, this annual last ride, it's at in Stockton, Alabama, which is a landmark district, and one of the landmarks is this place called Stagecoach.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a restaurant that everybody raves over. I mean, the food's good, but I mean, it's good.
Yeah.
So
So it's what?
it's like 2 or 3 days before last year's, I found out about it. This place is literally like 1.05 miles from my house.
I remember you messaging last
Yeah.
year, kind of last minute, going, "Hey, look at this right here," and we were all
So
like,
we had like a family Christmas thing. I couldn't, but I come back, I follow the little Facebook page, and there's tons of bikes. And I start meeting locals, and like, oh yeah, it's a huge event. Bikes come from all over. So throughout the year, I've been following this Facebook page, and literally there's people that like come from New England and Texas and all over the place for this. And it's really not that big of an event. It's just people come, fill their parking lot and the grass field across the street and the gas station next to it and the church next to it. I mean, there's tons of bikes, and they just go eat at Stagecoach and then turn around and go back home. But
Yeah.
I mean, people come from multiple state crossings. I mean,
There's a
it's-
lot of people from Arizona and New Mexico that can hit kind of on the southwest of the United States because they can hit 10 and get there in a
Yeah.
reasonable amount of time and then turn around and go home. So for them, it's a good end of the year ride, so to speak.
And
And
so it's like I think this is the 28th year that they're doing it.
I think that's what the article said.
There's no vendors, and they have a policy, no vendors, because local outreach with the church where we've been going to. I was like, hey, what if we, set up a tent or something, and just served hot chocolate or something. And they're like, no vendors, zero.
Wow.
Just Stagecoach, go in there and eat, but we're just going to fellowship, talk about bikes and the.
So many people. I mean, based on what I saw, I mean, I assume they can service everyone. I mean,
270,000 last year.
No, I would say, based on the pictures I saw, I'd say no more than probably 500 or 600. But no, I mean, it's a big restaurant.
Yeah.
They've got multiple rooms back there.
Okay.
It's one of those restaurants that's just added on and added on and added on and added on.
So it's like Top Hat Barbecue then.
Yeah.
Over the years, I think there's about 4 or 5 generations of buildings that Top Hat's been added on.
Yeah, and after living there for the year, I've gotten to know the owner, Joyce. She's great. She's catered a lot of stuff for my business, and just good people. I mean, and that's kind of the neat thing down there. One of those turns that you were talking about, I stopped at one time on that route that you went, and ended up sitting there talking to a guy about my motorcycle for like 45 minutes. And of course, he told me about all the motorcycles he used to have, and but that's just kind of the culture in South L.A., Lower Alabama.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
right.
You stop for gas, you may end up with a 45-minute conversation with a guy on the other side of the, gas pump from you. But
Sure.
it's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I know that, we venture down in that area, between Gulf Shores and, family beach trips or Panama City and beach trips and rallies or whatever. So we're down in that area a lot, but you're on the west side of the interstate, which is really like daylight and dark in the environment and the surroundings versus what's on, the east side towards, the beach and all of that area.
Yeah, you think it's west because we're talking about I-65, but the way I-65 actually runs right there, it's actually the north side of it. So,
Yeah, okay.
A little geographically misleading, but yeah, once you cross over that, you kind of turn into farmland.
Yeah. And it's there's a lot of the roads that are straight, but there's some fun roads too.
Yeah.
I mean, run down through there. If you're, pick up speed a little bit, you can enjoy some leans and.
Yeah, Eli and I went on I guess it was Monday afternoon. The weather was nice, and we legged over and took about an hour and 15-minute ride. Kind of did a loop, little road called Old Gainey Road, and then up Jack Springs Road, and then cut over on 7 Mile Road back to 59 and come back south. And both of the Old Gainey Road and 7 Mile Road is just through pine thickets, but it's curvy road. And of course, Eli, my son, he on his low rider, he's practicing his leans and thinks he's on a crotch rocket and trying different shifts and
You got him some knee pads yet? So you can.
No, but it's funny. I'm looking back there and I can see he's kind of doing the thigh press on the tank, and he watches all the YouTube videos of all the crotch rocket stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But no, yeah.
Tell him he'll grow out of that eventually.
That's because there ain't a whole lot of places on that bike for he and I to put our legs.
No, well, we've got the Ford control conversion kit on it, but he wants to put the mids back on it. But I think I mentioned to y'all earlier, about 20 minutes ago, now he's hitting me up. He's like, what if I got a Pan America instead of this LRS? So,
Well, we might talk a trade or something,
Yeah,
Might do the.
Yeah, I feel like Randy's kind of got his Pan America's kind of his stepchild kind of thing.
Yeah. Redheaded too.
well, I don't know. It's getting a lot of love over there. I'm sitting there looking at it. For it to be a stepchild, I mean, it's got some money that's been put on it between seats and bark busters and lights. I mean, it's not. He's not treating it like a stepchild.
I want to ride it. I want to at least take it on one trip. I've got a set of tires over there somewhere that needs to be put on it. I think they're over in the corner. All right, so back to this ride. Are we going?
I'm planning on it. Yeah.
Are you planning to? How are you gonna get down there?
A lot of that's
You knew that was
a
coming,
lot of
didn't you?
that's still undetermined. So Allison piped up the other day and said she was interested in going. So if she does, it'll kind of depend on the weather. I really don't know. If
Okay.
the weather's good, the plan is to ride. If if she's interested and John's down for it, then we may go down. Then we may trailer down Sunday, ride Sunday, go to the last ride Monday, and then trailer back. But a lot of it's just going to depend on the weather. If the weather's really nice, then she's down for leaving Birmingham and riding down Monday morning. And
Making it part of it.
So I should point out that they do have awards for like the longest ride, and it's by maybe age group, I think. But I'm not sure. I'll have to read the fine print again. There might be a consolation prize for the trailering. I'm not sure.
yeah,
If you
ain't no shame in my game, brother.
if you trailer via
Tell you,
Arizona,
I got a nice ass trailer.
if you trailer via Arizona, that's where you'd get. I saw where it said for the one who drives the most miles, and I'm like, well, that's a disadvantage because I don't. As I'm reading it, I'm like, because I only live 250 miles away.
Yeah, I'm not
You
winning
know.
any awards.
And
I might win the shortest ride.
Well, and then, well,
like
then it
1 mile. I
then
mean,
it says it's collective, as long as it's all at one time. So I'm thinking, okay, well, I go from here to Myrtle Beach to Key West,
Oh, there
and
you
then
go.
back up,
Yeah.
then back up. Then I could get in my.
John gonna get there and his engine ain't even gonna be hot.
no, I, mean,
I was gonna say his odometer numbers is gonna be in between.
yeah, I don't think my PSI and my tires is going to peg over 40.
Well, you definitely will need to go down and around and back around.
Yeah, I'll
take
take that
long
loop,
now.
that
Yeah.
old Gainey loop.
There you go. Pull back up and like, whew, that was a big. Well, I'm interested. I don't. I haven't looked at the weather in the last couple of days, so I don't know what they're calling for. But
I didn't either. I looked at it earlier this week and it looked like it was supposed to be pretty decent. But although I had to go down to Montgomery today and it was like 65 in Montgomery today. You get to Alabaster.
yeah, is
and
that where
it drops
the
15 degrees?
the line is?
Yeah.
What do they call that then?
Yeah, but when you hit that line, the wind was ferocious.
Mm-hmm.
I was pulling my trailer today, and it was blowing me all over the place.
Wow,
I think it got up over 20 miles an hour today.
that's a lot. That's a lot,
It's
especially
like
when
being
it's,
out there in the Black Hills.
Yeah, well, when it's cold, especially. It is a week from Monday, then. So right, the 30th.
Yeah, it's always on the 30th.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe the weather will be good enough, and it can be I don't know. You got a hotel room there somewhere nearby?
Not one to your standards. It's a couple exits away, but I mean, we
Four Seasons ain't they ain't got a Four
no,
Seasons in Stockton.
the Hyatt, no.
I don't do the road in, so
But I mean, you know, we got a couple extra beds and couches. And,
we'll figure it out then. We'll figure it out. I've mentioned it to Shelley, but I don't know. I wasn't sure anybody else was going, so I know Chris said he couldn't get off, so that would eliminate them, and I'm not even asking some other folks. So I get told no all the time. So
I know the feeling.
yeah. Anyway, so you've moved down, you found some rides and some roads and everything. Let's talk for a minute about the new addition to your family, because
Yeah.
we mentioned it, but we didn't want to. We wanted you to do it. So tell us a little bit about your new addition to your family.
yeah, so we had a grandbaby this year, back in late August. So was that coming up on 4 months?
4 months old,
Yeah. Yeah, I got to see her a little bit tonight.
Cool.
So she's doing good. During the pregnancy, we've got some less than positive news. Ended up not being as bad as what they originally told us, but she was ultimately, through some misdiagnosis, we finally did land on the actual diagnosis and had spina bifida. Doctors here at UAB worked with her and sent off her file to Houston, and preliminarily was a candidate for some new surgery technology they're doing in utero surgery. So my wife and daughter went out there it's like a 2-week screening that they have to do, and determined that she was going to be a candidate. And I think she was like the 187th woman to have this procedure where they go in and, of course, basically fix the open spot in the back of the baby still in the womb. The interesting thing, I guess I'll just point out, not to turn into a Sunday school testimonial here, but she was a candidate, but the doctor was not very optimistic. She was already showing depleted movement from the hips down, and he was actually using language like, yeah, she's a candidate, but I don't know that there's really much worth, because they can't fix what's already been damaged. When the nerve's exposed to amniotic fluid, once the damage is done to the nerves, it cannot be reversed. So they were saying, if we do the surgery, it'll probably just save some hip movement. So without going into more details, baby came out. The nurse, first thing we heard from the nurse was she's wiggling her toes. She's got full movement.
Sweet.
So not trying to take anything away from the surgery or the doctors, the technology and medicine, that have advancements, but
That was a God thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can say that for sure.
But we're still with spina bifida. I mean, it's a long journey. She's doing great, but there's things that we're going to be dealing with over the next few years of development, and
Right.
But no, all things considered, doing really good.
Good deal. Well, we congratulated you. You weren't here, but you might have heard the podcast. But we'll do it here in person. And congratulations to you guys. I know that was DJ and I obviously been friends with you and have for a while, that we kind of kept up with things, and there was some sketchy moments, I know, and
Yeah.
and not just with the medical, but also trying to make it all happen.
Yeah.
It's okay. We have the spina bifida, we have the baby in the womb where there's issues, but there's also a lot of other things surrounding that. What hospital? Because there's only, like you said, only a few people that do this.
Yeah.
And then insurance. We got to somehow it's got to be paid for. They don't do that stuff for free. And then we got to stay when we go to wherever we're going to, and all. There's just so many logistics in all of that you just had a lot on your plate. We was praying for you and you guys, and so definitely glad that the result that's happened has happened, because we all know it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess I kind of need to tip my hat to Children's here in Birmingham, before and then after returning from Texas. But Texas Children's, it's out there at the medical complex where MD Anderson and all the other. I mean, if you've ever had the unfortunate reason to go out there, you know how much of a blessing that complex is. It's truly amazing. The people that work in the hospitals there at that complex are just angels. I mean, truly, it's
Right. It's a calling for them.
Yeah.
It's like St. Jude, to be honest. I mean, I've heard a lot of
Yeah.
when we lived out there both times. It was you heard a lot about the facility.
Yeah, and then it's the infrastructure around it is built to support it. So I mean, there's little Airbnbs and little condos that, and different outreach programs with churches and obviously Ronald McDonald. But I think we ended up renting an Airbnb there just a couple blocks away, and I think they were out there for a little over a month. But it was a blessing. It's like I said, if you ever have the unfortunate reason to go out there, you'll experience how much of a blessing that
Right.
facility out there is.
Good. That's awesome. That's good. And now they're mom and baby both. They're everybody's back here,
Yeah.
and they're flourishing and doing good. And just doctor visits periodically, and
Yeah.
I guess it's a waiting game at this point to kind of see how she's I guess going to ultimately.
In some
do-
ways, yeah. I mean, there's things that they start out occupational therapy and physical therapy, even at a young age. But
Right.
yeah, she actually had some doctor visits today. What we know so far, everything was still positive. So
Good.
But it'll be a journey. Yeah, I mean, it's for those that have dealt with spina bifida and their family, know what I'm talking about. I mean, it's a journey. It's not just one day everything's hunky dory
Yeah.
or stagnant. It's
The fever don't break and you wake up and you're well the next day kind
Right.
of scenario.
But it's
Yeah.
we're definitely blessed, and a lot of answered prayers.
Well, one of the things that we talked about on our one of the episodes when we got things cranked back up a couple months ago was, us having the ability. We love motorcycles, and we've already been talking about that just since we've started back up here tonight. But we want to talk about a lot of things. We're going to talk about things of that nature. And matter of fact, as we progress forward, you guys progress forward, we'd like reports, just to kind of see how she's doing, and the 2 or 3 people that follow may want to know as well. So, but that's kind of our goal is really just to this be a life, opportunity podcast talking about, God, politics. Yeah, we're going to talk about it all. Some will make mad, some will make happy. And, some people I've already, it just, it's nothing. My thing that I've come to lately is that there's no way to do any of this with perfection. I was sitting at my desk the other day, I was doing something for work, and I was thinking, I was thinking about how the guys once I got this all put together and I handed them the package and said, okay, here's the job, go get it done. And I was thinking they're not going to do it like I'm envisioning it. I just know it. And I thought, this is a scenario where if I want it done right, I need to go do it myself. Not that I'm really going to go do it myself, but it was one of those things. And then I've got to thinking, and I think really God probably for my own good, because I was the only one sitting there and I was thinking all this. I wasn't even saying it out loud, but I'm like, even if I went and did it, I'd make a mistake. I need to quit overthinking it from the aspect of thinking that it's, needs to be perfect or whatever. So anyway, a little bit of rambling there, but getting to the point to where that's, we're going to talk about all kinds of things, whether it's serious, funny, hobbies, whatever it may be. I've picked up my golf game again and playing some golf, and man, I really look not good, but it's okay. I enjoy it. So
I think he meant to say he's picked up his golf clubs.
I am a guy playing golf. I am not a golfer.
Yeah, you said you picked up your game, and
A golf game. Did I not say golf game?
You did say golf game, but I don't know. I kind of interpret that as like your game's good, but you've told me your game's not good.
So anyway,
and we have hot buttons.
Yeah, we have hot buttons, and we'll be testing them out some too, just to see. Because I don't even know what they all do. I may hit the wrong one there.
And the listeners say, thanks for the warning.
That's right. So what have you been doing? I hear you're
John, did you settle on what the baby's going to call you?
Pierre Paul.
So, obviously that will be yet to be determined from
Let her determine
But,
that? Okay.
of course, everybody starts coming up with making a big deal out of what they're going to be called. And I picked up the nickname from some of my nieces and nephews of Grumpy through the years.
Yeah, I knew that was one that was in the hat.
But my wife, even though that's kind of, I got called that tonight. We had family Christmas with her family, and that's what everybody calls me. But my wife thought that was a little negative. So with my military background, I spent most of my time before I was in the Air Force at the rank of captain, and it's kind of what, kind of was known for as cap. And so that seems to be what everybody's using as cap, short for captain.
Cap.
Okay.
But
you're gonna get you one of those shields and the
no, so I
spandex outfit.
I don't know. It's we'll see how that all plays out.
Either one is fitting, right?
Grumpy's probably more fitting, truth be told. But
I wasn't going to say nothing, but that was going to be Allison's vote.
yeah,
She put like 10 things in the hat to choose from, and then she pulled out the other 9, and that was the one she put.
it's probably more fitting if I was being honest with myself. You have your mental self-image
Yep.
that you think of. This is how people see me. Yeah, that's. Sometimes you just have to accept reality and perspectives of people are different.
Truth there. So what's Bobby going to be called? What's she want to be? B. Huh? My sister went with Nana, and I don't. So my sister's daughter had a son 9 months before Hunter was born, my oldest, which was the first or the second grandchild. His mom was the first grandchild, she was born in 82, so many years later. So when he was born, she wanted to be called Nana, so that's what they. Well, when the grandchildren were born, which would have been her nephews, they tried to get them to call her Nana as well, and I had to fight. I was like, "You're not their Nana."
Yeah.
Okay, this is not a nickname thing. You have grandbabies that call you Nana, and then you have nephews that need to call you
Anything
Auntie,
else?
Aunt Mindy, whatever it wants to be, but it's not Nana. It was anyway.
Sounds like a sensitive subject.
It's a very sensitive subject. Don't get me started.
I got a similar subject. I got a
That's
similar
not your
story.
Nana. That's right.
Right. What's up? What else?
So I hear you are you're doing a little. Last time we podcasted, either he was doing it secretly.
Yeah.
I don't know. He come out of the closet with it here a while back. He didn't have a choice, I guess, because he had some bruises, and it was either Allison hit me or I've been
Cauliflower ear.
No, I don't have that yet.
So what are you doing? Walk us through exactly what you're doing and why.
Okay.
And I'm more interested in the why.
More interested in the why. The why I may have a hard time pinning down because sometimes I'm not certain myself. But
Midlife crisis.
my son tells me that. But
Midlife crisis.
and we have
Sound effects.
voice something or another. I don't know what you call it. So yeah, I don't know. A little less than a year ago, I started with some Aikido to get back into martial arts. In my 20s, I took karate for several years and just kind of got to a point, you know, I don't know, for years, my daughter was playing softball. I coached her softball team, stayed in pretty good shape, and then she got out of it. And I kind of didn't do anything for a year and a half, maybe 2 years, and just, I don't know, felt like I needed to be a little more active. I hate going to the gym and just doing gym stuff. So got back into martial arts, started with Aikido. That led to
Now, so Aikido is the Steven Seagal, because I watched this video
Yeah.
the other day that came through my feed, and like all these little young whippersnappers are coming from multiple directions, and here's big old Steven Seagal, all 300 however many pounds, 7'2" tall, and he's just like slapping their hands and they're falling to the ground
Yeah.
doing rolls and stuff. I mean, so is that what, are you going to be like the new Steven Seagal? Is that what we're going for?
Steven Seagal is probably the most
Notorious.
notorious, recognized, you know, because of he's a celebrity and he's legitimate, like trained in Japan, 7th Dan black belt or something.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I was watching this video wondering, is that legitimate or is this WWF? Because, I mean, these young whippersnappers were flying through the air and all he's doing is kind of slapping their hand.
Well, he don't move like he used to, obviously, but I mean, he was one of the ones I followed years ago coming up, and he's not Chuck
Old man
Norris
still
or
moves
Bruce Lee,
pretty
but
good.
he's still
You know, Aikido's it gets a bad rap for a lot of that because it is very showy. In its purest form, it's very martial. So a lot of those techniques, if practiced at full speed, you know, you're walking away with a broken arm or broken wrist or you know something like that. So it can't. The training partner, the uke or whatever you want to call them, is going to give into it really early, break fall, you know, really quick to prevent some of that. So it does give that impression of, okay, that's not real.
Yeah.
And in real life, it probably wouldn't look like that. But in real life,
it's an aggressive,
it is.
offensive movement. It's not a wait and come to me like karate. It's more of a
No.
I'm just gonna go ahead. And,
that's not. It is and its point is to use your energy against you and redirect you. It is one of the few martial arts that I've seen that kind of fits with multiple attackers. If you watch when one of the moves happens, it's just there's two quick touches and somebody gets thrown.
Yeah, that's what this video Steven
And
Seagal was.
the purpose of that is I've got to redirect you somewhere else, and I may try and break your arm in the process, but you've got 3 more people coming in behind you, and I've got to deal with them too. So that was kind of attractive about it. Other martial arts are typically one-on-one, and somebody's buddy coming up and whatever's not really on the table. So that's Aikido, but it's a bunch of joint locks and joint manipulation and things like that. That led me down a road of when I first started doing it, it wasn't giving me the level of exercise that I was looking for, but I enjoyed doing it. So I've stuck with the Aikido, but then picked up Judo because that was also taught at the same dojo. Judo turned into, okay, I'm getting good at these takedowns, or I shouldn't say getting good at.
Progressing.
I'm learning them. I'm progressing them, right? But there's a ground game to Judo. And I thought, okay, maybe I should learn jiu-jitsu. So I started with Brazilian jiu-jitsu as well. So currently I'm taking Aikido and Judo and Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
And at what
That would be
point do
called
we?
mixed martial arts.
Yes,
That would be mixed martial arts.
At what point do we see you like in the senior Olympics or anything?
May 24th and 25th,
Okay.
the Senior USA Championships here in Birmingham
Okay.
in Judo. So
And what age? Like I
no
knew
chance
that
in
was.
hell I'll be in that.
Why not?
I'll be there. I will be. I will be there.
Okay.
But no, I'm not a competition guy. I don't have no desire to compete.
Well, damn.
It's just funsies. But currently broke my toe. Had a one of my training partners was showing me something he was working on a Seoinage throw. I
What,
was
Mr. Miyagi? Is that what you said?
Seoinage,
Okay.
which is a hip throw, and he went through his technique and loaded me up on his back, and I thought, okay, I'm fixing to go for a ride, and we got about 3/4 of the way through it. He stopped because he was just being a good training partner, didn't want to slam me down to the mat, so I kind of went off to the side, landed wrong, wasn't expecting the landing that I got, and broke my big toe.
Now is this your?
Womp womp womp.
Oh, hang on.
Womp.
Is
Love
this your gear shifting toe?
It is. So
you
probably not going to be able to ride the BMW or the KTM for a a while unless I can get a heel shifter on it.
You can. Piece of coat hanger
So,
wire or something.
Yeah, if I can get a heel shifter on it, then I can probably ride one of them. Other than that, I'll stick to one of the baggers.
Mm.
Rough life.
Toes damage that hurts.
I mean, I've heard that if you break your big toe, it's like hard to walk. It's like the stabilization toe or something.
I've been getting around on it pretty good. I wasn't even going to go to the doctor, but if you saw the mirage of colors on the end of my foot right now, it's like,
So
yeah,
the
I
black
probably
and blue
just ought
don't
to-
belong there. That's right.
yeah, I probably ought to have somebody, just glance.
Take a look at it. So what are you hoping to get for Christmas concerning this mixed martial arts? You get anything like a signed copy of maybe a Bruce Lee poster or something?
No,
It-
I don't think so.
Hmm.
Might like a new gi, but I'm not really expecting one. My wife's tired of washing the ones I got. So she don't want to put more in the mix.
Well, you need enough for a load, so you can wash
Yeah,
the whole,
well.
do a month's worth of stuff, and then you can wash them all at one
Yeah,
time.
you've seen me. My gi jacket's about a load by itself.
About like them 4 cows it takes to make your
Make my leather jacket.
leather
That's right.
jacket.
Yeah.
John, what you gonna get for Christmas, buddy?
Mm.
Because if you're like the rest, I'm sure that you already know. It's just because you probably picked it out, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
Huh?
I don't know.
I've asked for a pipe.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, there was a period in my life where I thought I wanted to venture off in that.
Yeah, I've wanted it.
I feel like you had a pipe.
I almost bought one time when we were out of town. I think might have been last Daytona, this past spring bike week. But I don't know if she got it. But that's really only one.
I
or two
love the
things.
smell.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I quit smoking when I was 17. And the way I quit smoking was I just, mind over matter, I forced myself it makes me sick to smell.
Yeah.
Like if I smell somebody smoking a Marlboro Red, smell it a mile away, and I get nauseous.
Mhm.
I do love the smell of cigars.
I get something, but it ain't nauseous.
I knew you was gonna say. He'd be like,
So-
"Ah,
While I was still in the military, I spent a lot of time over in the Middle East. And what's the pipes, the white with the starts with an M, Marichetta pipes or whatever,
Yes.
something to that effect. And they're hand carved, and I was sitting there, I was like, man, I'm gonna pick me one out while I'm over here, and I never did because I thought that'd be cool, as a keepsake from my time over there in the Middle East. But I don't know. I never picked up to it.
They seem to be, for me, like I'm kind of a casual cigar smoker, and cigar, they smell good when you light them up, and periodically through the smoke, you can smell the flavor or whatever the richness of the tobacco or whatever it is. Unlike a cigarette, to me, you get the first, and then after that, it really doesn't.
Ashtray.
Yeah, kind of. Pipe, on the other hand, I think is one where it's every single, draw or smoke or whatever from it is got a good smell to it.
I'll just stick to my Copenhagen and walk by, and yeah, it smells good. I'll
There
leave
you
it at
go.
that.
There you go. Yeah, other than that, I don't, everybody tells me I'm hard to buy for, and I'm like, 'cause I learned a long time ago if I wanted something, I just go buy it myself.
You're
So.
gonna have to get one long enough so that it doesn't taint the color of that white beard.
Did you notice I got it cut today?
I noticed you trimmed up. Nice.
Yeah. It had gotten down.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'd gotten it down to here. When we were in Sturgis, I had it down. It was just below my breastbone. Breastbone? Is that what that is?
I mean, most people would probably say nipples. But
Sternum, but
nipples. I mean,
Well, I want to say,
down to my
I-
ribs,
I just like saying breast. So,
lower than your titties.
sure.
is that in a brassiere or not in a brassiere? Because that can kind of change
Is that
that
a
level.
ponytail?
Oh.
Sure.
All right,
Speaking of Sturgis, are y'all going this year?
It's been knocked around.
Yeah, we've mentioned some ideas. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, at some point we're going to do that.
Yeah.
I love the confidence and the
It feels like so far away, and then
when you blink
you
twice
know it's
and
not.
no, it's not.
And you got to plan it. And
I've already made mine because I
just
know.
kept putting it off. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we need to get together on that and figure out what we're doing.
Deadwood's taking reservations.
Yeah.
If that's where I want to stay.
Yeah, but so this past year, and we had to cancel because of that was when the gray baby was being born.
That's
We were
correct.
going to go the week of Labor Day,
That's right.
and the rates of the Deadwood Inn Resort Casino. Where were we staying?
It's
Deadwood Lodge.
Deadwood Lodge.
Yeah, Deadwood Lodge. Were very reasonable.
Yeah.
So as
When
we
it's not rally.
when we were tossing around, maybe going like the 10 days before the weekend, the first weekend, and then back it up 10 days. And I pulled up their website. It's like quadruple the price. I mean, it's
Yeah.
unreal per night. So I don't know.
I priced the lodge this year, thinking that we've stayed in Airbnb the last 2 years, and I thought, maybe do something a little different. So got on Airbnb, looked. It's $6,000 for a house. So I thought, well, I'm gonna look at the hotels for one room, $6,000, $4,000, $5,000. I mean, it's it's unreasonable.
Call Andy up there at Iron Horse and get her to hook you up.
Iron Horse Inn.
Yeah, Andy will hook you up.
The
She'll give you the 5 Dirty Biker
the
discount.
discount. That's a discount I'm not sure I want. I'm not sure what that entails. The lady that
Comes
we,
with a black light for room inspection.
All right.
The lady I rented from the first year and we rented from this year, though, she said we could have the whole house for $4,000 for the 10 days. So I just can't go wrong.
Yeah, that's
I'm-
pretty reasonable during rally week.
Yeah, she's not this past year and this year she's not going to. I'm not going to go through Airbnb, so I save about $500.
You get her in trouble for saying that.
She doesn't know her name is Jane Doe. She lives in Ontario. But so she doesn't know. She saves me the $500 and something on the fees, and
It's more than that.
yeah, for that time of year, it probably
Mhm.
is. But it's if there's room, but you guys probably won't be there at the same time we are. But it's an option. Now your wives are going to go though, right?
Well, that was the plan this last year. We tossed around the idea of the guys driving up and maybe the wives flying in and then flying out. But I don't know. We had no firm plans, just pondering of ideas.
Okay. Well, it's someplace you got to get there at some point.
Yeah. You know, it's the other side of it is, you know, Allison started a new job this year, so she's uncertain what that time of year is going to look like for her. You know, just like with Shelley, she's in the education world as well. So, you know, it's you know, right there beginning of school year, and everybody's prepping and getting ready, and a lot of moving pieces, and she's uncertain what her duties are going to look like.
Pressure.
Yeah. So
The first year that I left, that's kind of a last minute. I was gone the first week of school, and I was appreciative of being gone the first week. And then this past year, as you guys know, the ladies went with Jeremy and I, Kim and Shelley went, and then they flew back before school started. But it was, yes, the whole education thing was. So I don't suspect that Shelley will go back until after. At least not for that little bit of time period there.
mm-hmm.
If we were to go through the area to, you know, Yellowstone or somewhere like that, maybe. But as far as that time of year, so this year is just the ones that are. I figured you guys were planning to go with the wives, so I haven't even. This is the first conversation I've had with you about it because Jeremy and Chris and I are planning to go, but we're going to go for the rally again. So Friday through Saturday.
Yeah.
Following Saturday.
Following Saturday.
Yeah.
I would like to go and experience the rally, but I don't know. I just go back and forth. And just need to settle on what I want to do and do it, and whatever I don't do it next year.
Well, I will say that if you, you know, even if you just want just a piece of the rally, just, you know, if you guys go up and, you know, for, you know, that first weekend and back up 10 days, like you said, then, you know, at the end of whatever time frame, if the ladies don't want to be there for the rally part, then, you know, Rapid City Airport's right there. You know,
Spring's
So-
filling up quick though.
it is. It's yeah. It
I
is.
want to. I'm still knocking around the idea of maybe getting up to the museum and touring Harley's museum and doing Mama Tried. I want to try and make that happen. And then we got just a couple of weeks after that, Daytona.
Yep.
At least you and I will be down there for that.
John's going to be there. You just don't know yet.
Then we got March Moto Madness and
Mm-hmm.
into March, 1st of April. I think it's first weekend of April. So yeah, spring's filling up quick.
Cave Creek is in there somewhere.
I don't know about it. Where's it at?
Arizona.
Huh.
It's one of the other 10-day rallies,
Okay.
but that'd be my May.
Another backer rally or
Yes, I guess
okay.
typical. I guess
Okay.
bagger rally. Yeah, I'd like to go to Myrtle Beach at some point this year, but I don't know if we get a chance to.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We've got a lot
I
happening.
mean, I
and-
guess I guess need to check that box, but it's not real high on my list.
So
No.
I think I was talking to one of the two of y'all. You know, I've done. If you watch others' podcasts, you know Matt Laidlaw has just punched his. I guess he did a trip to Smoky Mountains, East Tennessee,
The
Yeah.
Dragon.
and I have done that, but that was back in my single days. Since years ago, you know, I took a hiatus when the kids were born from motorcycling, then got back into it about 3 or 4 years ago, and now that they're older, and since then, Bobby and I have not. Y'all have gone for the last 2 years, but both years when y'all have gone with the wives, we had conflicts. Mainly my son's baseball, but
Right.
so after watching Laidlaw, and I was like, you know, Bobby and I hadn't been up there yet, and so we may try to do a long weekend or something when the weather starts getting nice up there, and do that area.
It's really too close to us, you know, not to do. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's an easy trip to make,
Yeah,
I mean,
even for you. I mean,
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's
not bad.
and I don't know that there's really there is. So I guess I should preface by saying that first. Mountainous areas outside of probably Utah and Colorado. I don't know if there's better, maybe just as good. I mean, the mountains up in North Georgia and East Tennessee and the Carolinas is just fantastic. I mean,
Yeah.
the Blue Ridge Parkway runs up through there, and
Cherryhala Skyway is. I remember,
it's
back in my
phenomenal.
younger days, is. I mean, the Tail of the Dragon's what it is. But
I will never ride it again.
that's what I said after I wrote it younger. I mean, probably will if we go up there, but that's not the Cherryhala Skyway, Blue Ridge Parkway. I mean, those long sweeping curves and views are much more appealing to me at my age now than Tail of the Dragon.
Well, even Moonshiner 28 is a better ride in my opinion. It's you don't have the idiots. That's the problem with the Dragon. It's not that it's not a fun ride. It's that you have 14 Corvettes coming around the
Or Miatas, monster Miatas. I mean, that's what I
Porsches or
remember.
Mustangs,
the day that last time I rode it.
and sport bikes that pass you in a curve, and they're not only putting themselves in danger, they're putting you in danger. And it's just that I have no interest in that at all. I just don't. I've done it, like as in I've ridden the Dragon, and I'm good.
Yeah.
But the only, and Matt said they kind of inadvertently rode the Dragon because they came in from the west side.
Yeah, they came in from the town side, if
Yeah.
I remember correctly.
Yeah. So they kind of, if that was the route, so be it. But as far as going up in there and saying, we got to get to the Dragon, gotta get to the
So I'd
Dragon,
be just as happy as coming over the ridge at the, what's that lookout spot called? And coming over in Cherokee and coming down through Carolinas and then hitting Cherryhala and skipping the Tail completely. It's too much traffic. And
Blood Mountain was fun.
Which one was it?
Blood Mountain.
Yes. Yeah.
That was a good ride.
Well, I mean, Wares Valley, and Bryson City, and I mean, just all those. They're small towns, but they're connected by these great mountainous roads. Winding along the river. That area that comes in up in North Carolina that where the road was washed out. That'll be. They're talking about, $10 million to fix that road, and it's going to be years before it's prepared.
have y'all ever looked into that? I think it's called Iron Horse. Everything's called Iron Horse, seems like in the motorcycle world, but it's a motorcycle resort up there in the North Carolina.
Yeah, we stopped there when we were up there in Helen. It was kind of dead when we were there, but we did stop in. It's looks like it could be a happening place in the right season.
I mean, it's got like motels, it's got cabins, it's got bunk rooms, it's got houses.
Yeah, and all the houses have got little garages, I think, for you to park in.
Yeah.
If I recall. They got a little restaurant, bar. Yeah, it's a neat place.
There's a lot of good stuff. The museum that's up there. Yeah, that one.
Wheels Through Time.
Wheels Through Time. Fantastic place. I would say I haven't been to the Harley Museum in up north, but I would.
You haven't been to Barber's, and it's in your backyard.
I've been to Barber's numerous times. Wonk.
Okay, not since you got a motorcycle.
It's kind of like the Dragon. You've
not
been there
since
once.
you had an
You've seen 'em.
appreciation for motorcycles.
No, I had an appreciation then. I sent them in with you
It's the greatest motorcycle museum in
Birmingham.
the world.
in Birmingham,
In the world,
in the world of Birmingham.
and he doesn't have time.
17.
17 miles from our house.
That's a long way.
I'm not salty at all.
No, apparently not. I'm going to the homecoming this year, so I'll be doing the
When is that? June, July,
July
July.
9th
It's
through the
2 weeks
13th.
before Sturgis.
About 3 weeks. So the
3
plan, you got to have a plan. Whether it comes to fruition or not will remain to be seen. But my plans are to leave and go there and then work my way across to Sturgis. So it's going to be about 4 weeks.
Then on the way back, you'll catch, was it Blues Bikes and Barbecue is the week after? Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that'll be gone too long probably. I'll leave Sturgis. I'll be ready for home. Yeah, it'll be a long,
Who is this new Randy?
exactly.
So is Chris riding to Sturgis by himself?
probably will because he won't be able to do the whole trip.
Gotcha.
So, we haven't quite gotten that far, but that's what's in the works.
That should be fun.
Interesting.
Should be fun.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, I do want to go to the Harley Museum. I think that'd be cool.
I agree.
I hear Mama Tried is a cool show.
It's kind of odd that they have it that time of year because, I mean, you know, you're not going to have a lot of people. I say this and I close my eyes, shake my head because I know you will, but you're not going to have a lot of people riding up in that area that time of year. I mean,
I
that's.
think you're going to have a lot of people riding in that area, period. Ever.
Well,
Freaking ever.
I mean, you might. Depends.
It's not, I mean, I don't think people go to Milwaukee for the riding.
No, they don't. But
The
I mean, sure,
reports that I heard
Homecoming will
was the
have a bunch of
roads were
bikes there,
horrible.
but
yeah,
I heard the roads were
you know, it's like
not motorcycle conducive.
they're not.
Daytona and Sturgis. I mean, those places gear up for it and respect it and allow for it. I just don't see Milwaukee giving the
Well,
same right away.
But it's the same thing in the summertime. Like, you know, everybody's like, well, can't wait to go. And I want to go once at least. But I'm like, Milwaukee, Wisconsin in July? Like, that's hot and disgusting.
Hotter than Alabama.
But at least in this area, I can ride some roads and get canopy and trees, and which is why I like doing those summer trips up in, you know, North Georgia and East Tennessee, because when you get up in those mountains, it's cool.
You know, speaking of which, going back to one of your first questions to me, you know, when I moved down to where I'm living at now, a little landmark community of Stockton, Alabama, I was told that it's the hottest place in Alabama. I was like, what? You know, because we all know, like, Phil Campbell area is the coldest place in Alabama. Always is. You ever see James Spann posting temperatures, Phil Campbell's always the coldest.
Yeah.
Well, after living there a year, 2 summers or a summer and a half now, I can tell you that Stockton, Alabama is the hottest place in Alabama. I
Now,
mean,
is it the hottest or the most humid?
Yes. The answer to
Sure
that is
that is
yes.
yes.
Yes. Okay.
I mean, you walk outside, it's instant sweat, instant. I mean, and so riding during late July and August is it's miserable. I mean, I'm just going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's miserable.
Yeah, because there is some canopy roads down there, but not a lot.
No, I mean, you know, what's interesting is you can look at the temperatures. I'm about 45 miles inland from up 59 from Gulf Shores, and you know, it'll be 10, 15 degrees cooler at Gulf Shores,
Yeah, I could see that.
literally. I mean, it'll be 96 degrees, and look at Gulf Shores, and it's 84 with you know, Gulf breeze. And so, I mean, if there's riding during that time of year, you know, you go south, you get to the coast and ride over to Navarre Beach, you know, through Pensacola. And we've done that several times. Beautiful scenery. But yeah, in that area, because it's right there in the Alabama Amazon, along the Tennessee River and all the rivers that go into the feed, into the Mobile Bay, and it's just humid. Oh my gosh, it's miserable.
How far does Alabama River run from you?
Well, the closest one to us is Tennessee, and
Okay.
so you know they all feed in, but they're kind of staggered. You know,
Not Tennessee, Tennessee.
Tensas,
Tennessee, that's right.
Tensaw.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm like I don't know, as crow flies, maybe 4/10 of a mile away from Tensas River,
Okay.
which that's the furthest east river that feeds into Mobile Bay.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
it's humid. It's ungodly humid.
I mean, it usually is, and when we're doing those couple 3 summer rides that we've done, it usually is to get where we're going. But usually, once we get there, it's the first year we went with Jeremy and Kim, and then the second year with DJ and Allison. But the goal was to hurry up and get to the the shaded roads and the mountainous areas, and it, you know, it's tolerable. I'll say that it's at least compared to where you're at. And I've not ridden down there that time of year, but hearing your stories, it wouldn't be something.
I mean, it's
I'd be anxious
instant
to go do.
swamp ass. I mean, it's
Yeah.
So you gonna bust the cherry on Pan America for this month-long trip?
No, I can't do
You got a
he-
nice
he-
new
he-
seat for it. I'm
he-
sitting here
he-
looking at a
he-
brand new Corbin seat.
that. Mako, he didn't mean that. Don't worry about it. I got you, baby. It's just me and you.
Had to ask. I mean, you said you were waiting
Uh,
to take a big trip
I-
on it. I mean, they
I
got a
am-
big trip planned.
I
and-
am, but it won't be on that one. I'll go somewhere on it. Just to get a
See-
feel. For those of you that don't know, we're in the bike garage out here. So there's 3 sitting over here. That's why we keep looking that direction
Yeah.
at them. So, but I don't know. It's got 600 miles on it. I still got a few to put on it before I'm.
600.
I hadn't been on it since.
You ain't even done the 1K service on it yet?
Nope. I mean, I was riding it pretty regular for a while, and then the fall trip came around, and then between work and the weather, it just hadn't.
What are we doing?
That's creating some separation for me and 600 miles over here.
I'm going to park my Grom right next to it.
Yeah, I heard y'all bashing the Dragon, and I was sitting over here thinking, well, I might have to make a trip back to the Dragon if I get that Busa this year.
Yeah, what is the latest on the Busa? You were talking hard and heavy about it a month ago, and then nothing.
John, you and I will bring an EMS truck, and we'll meet him at the.
No kidding.
Because I just don't.
Dude, the last time I rode it, I watched a guy hard peg on his Heritage Softail in the hot side right in front of me.
I've seen. Oh my God, upside down, crossways, blood, bones. I've seen it. You know, I mean, it's just not necessary, and it's a fun little road.
It is,
But
Yeah, so the latest is there's not a latest. It's on the wish list, but
how do you say that, by the way?
Hayabusa.
Do you know what that means?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I do.
Is
he's
that-
a mixed martial arts
is-
expert. Of course he knows what it means.
I don't miss it. It's like my guy that I watched, that I follow, teaching me golf. His name is Kawabunga. Not necessarily, it's Kawa something, but I call him Kawasaki just because it's.
So you know the story behind the Hayabusa, right?
I've read
Why
it.
it's called.
It's been a while, but I've read
So
it. Yeah.
I do not to educate this.
He's like,
This is
that.
going to be a 2-part
He's like-
podcast, by the way, because we're working on like hour and a half here.
yeah. So when the Hayabusa came out, the Honda Blackbird was maybe I'm going to say this right, was the fastest production motorcycle on the market.
Stop.
Okay.
Stock motorcycle.
Yep. Production.
Oh, I thought he
Right.
said
Is that
stop.
okay.
I was
No.
like,
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
Cease.
And so Suzuki releases the Hayabusa, and Hayabusa is Japanese for peregrine falcon,
Right.
which eats blackbirds.
That's right.
Huh.
And it was faster.
I mean, falcons in general typically feed on other birds.
Right.
So
So that's the story there. I thought it was pretty cool. So I want one.
we'll get you on.
And, you know, as a practitioner of the Japanese arts, I like the fact that it's got Japanese writing on the side of it.
Yeah,
I
You
can
know, it's
appreciate
kinda
that.
cool, right?
have you ever heard the term "just because you can"? That's what
No, I can appreciate. I mean, I bought a BMW because of my aviation background and,
Yeah.
the background with
Well.
BMW. I mean, that's their whole emblem is propellers.
Yeah.
So I get it. I understand. Not a BMW motorcycle. I bought a BMW car. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
I've got a BMW motorcycle.
Well, hopefully one day I will.
Get you one of them.
I would love to have a 1300.
Here's a good question for you. If
Mhm.
Harley made something like the Hayabusa, what would it be named? It's got to be something. That
Buell.
Yeah, they done tried that.
Did you say mule?
It would be called Buell.
Oh, here we go.
And we have hot buttons.
That's right.
No, the answer to that
Yeah.
question is no. If Harley Davidson made one, no, I would not. And here's
But what would they name it? I'd be just curious to see.
oh, okay. I thought you were asking
V-Rock.
me if I would buy one if Harley made one.
That I think that probably was more along the lines of what they were trying than even the Buell was. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. I don't know, you know, but I'm not going to say the only reason, but part of the reason that I wanted the GS was because so many people say that it's like the greatest motorcycle ever made. And I was like, well, I mean, if that's the case, I'm going to try it. I don't know that I agree with that. I think it's a very fine motorcycle for its intended purpose. And
In the world it's meant for.
yeah, I think it works great. Is it the greatest motorcycle ever made? Nah, and maybe for what it's meant for. But then the Hayabusa has such a following. The people that have them love them. Like, you know, in the world of sport bikes, you know,
They're top. I mean, between that and the Ninja, I mean, they cover, I'd say, probably 50% of the market.
And so the Busa's got, I mean, it's like the longest wheelbase.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm a 6'4", 230-pound guy, so I think if one's going to fit me well, then it would be that one.
I mean, you need a
Never
pillow.
had a sport bike.
You're laying down. You need a pillow. So
I don't mean to like go squirrel over here, but I'm looking. We've established the fact that we're in Randy's motorcycle garage, and so he's got bikes over here, workbench.
I know where he's going with this.
closets.
yeah,
I'm panning the room as y'all are talking about whatever y'all are talking about, and I look
He's
over
ignoring us.
Come on with it.
and
Come on,
are
preach.
those whips and chains
Yes.
hanging off of the
Whips
wall?
and chains, handcuffs.
I mean, is that an S&M wall?
Smack a
What
little
are we
booty.
looking at over there? I mean,
Is
I mean,
it
it's
look-
not just it's. I'm seeing like 8 pair with some with
poo balls.
pull balls and some with. I mean, there's a pair over there that looks like
There's,
an
fi- there's,
adult toy tied to the end of it. I mean,
there's-
what we got going on over here, Randy?
it's 50 Shades of Gray wall.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys
mean,
can't
seriously-
see it, and we can't show it because YouTube would kick us off. But that's the adult wall.
I seriously think that one in the middle has got, for her pleasure, attachments. What is that? I'm starting to feel uncomfortable over here.
Well, and
This is-
over here we have a Santa suit. I'm gonna wear that next
Yeah.
week.
So-
I'm gonna go.
ComCon.
No, I'm just gonna put it on and ride the Road Glad through Gardendale to our local town because the kiddos will love it.
Okay.
I shaved my beard. I shouldn't have done that. I'm gonna put on
I
a
seen a
fake
guy
beard.
on a Grinch suit riding his motorcycle the other day.
Yes, see that quite often. But
Your personality fits more of the Grinch. but
yeah, probably does. No, I
I
would,
feel like those would take up a lot of space in your bag as you're packing, though.
what?
All the get back whips.
I mean, I don't pack them all.
I mean, how many get back whips do you need?
Well, here's the phase. I like them. They all light up.
I mean, that one on the far left's got tassels hanging off the end of it. I mean, it's supposed to like
That's-
lace
that's
tassels,
spikes.
spikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's like 50 Shades of Grey darker.
Could be 50 Shades of Black. I don't know.
Strange. All right. Anyhow,
Anyway,
sorry, squirrel.
So, but anyway, so Buell, V-Rod, Harley couldn't make one of those. Have you ever heard the name Yammy on YouTube?
Yummy noob.
You know him?
Mhm.
If there was ever anybody that I'd like to neuter, it'd probably be him. But I'll tag you two in this. They're noob, but no, I'm just he's a
He's a bit of a Harley hater.
he is an absolute.
He does
hater.
like the Pan Am, though.
And he likes the Nightster,
Yeah.
but he thinks we're all dumb. But
So
yet,
he likes the Revolution engine.
but yet he
basically.
respects us.
But I mean,
yet
the
he-
Revolution engine does take some of the advancement of technology from the European market.
It
designed
does.
engines.
So Adam Sandoval, so he did a big. This Yami noob did a big, basically a Harley hating video, and put it out, and then Adam Sandoval did a takeover on it, where he played a little bit of it, stopped, and then talked, and played a little bit of it, stopped. That's the one you need to watch.
Yeah, I was going to say that probably sounds entertaining.
Yeah, it was very entertaining. And Adam was very respectful until Yami became not respectful, and then Adam got just as disrespectful back, or however you want to call it. Because he was talking out of both sides of his mouth, so to speak. And one time he called us, all Harley owners uneducated and stupid. And then the next time down the road, he was saying, "But I respect them because they're it's a cult and they really are dedicated and blah blah blah." But it's like you can't say you hate them and they're stupid and then you respect them. It don't make sense anyway. But it was bad on Yammy's part from a Harley perspective, and then Adam. But there were points that Adam and I both I agreed with what some of the things he said. Basically, he's a sports bike kid.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably 25 to 30 maybe, and I find it, rather than just hating the Harley world, I think he's jealous, to be honest with you.
He's got a turbo boost.
He does. And most of the people that do hate the Harley world, it's jealous. And I don't mean jealous as in Harley. It's not the name. He buys and he talked about this often, bang for buck, when he go buy a motorcycle. Like if he mentioned it once, he did it 40 times in that video. Bang for buck. And he's talking about how he can go down and buy a crotch rocket for $15,000 to $18,000, and that's a high end one. Whereas the cheapest Harley is $25,000. Oh, it's good, So that was his beef, And I'm like, well, you're poor, you can't afford to buy one, and that's not true. I don't mean literally like he's poor. He's got 1 million followers on YouTube, so I don't know how much money he makes. But the point is that it's his choice not to buy one. He don't want to spend the money on it or whatever. So it's it's kind of like, well, we've had those conversations about waving it. Going down the road, do you give the 2-piece down sign to a crotch rocket that comes by? They're not Harley, and that's been a battle for years. The crotch rocket guys say, yeah, the Harley guys won't give me the 2-piece sign down, and and then vice versa.
So that brings up a question that I've had recently. So I was coming back from Gulf Shores. I'd ridden down to the beach, was riding back up, and I pass we'll just say a 3-wheeled. No offense, I know you own a trike, but it did cross my mind as 2 fingers down representing, 2 wheels. And I was like, well, is that correct?
No,
Should I have
you
held
said
three
three
fingers down? So that would have been appropriate and not disrespectful? Or is that, so these are the things that I think of as, and it came, so I have this conversation with myself of like, should it be 3 fingers down or is, 2 and 1? I mean, what is it? I don't, yeah. What's appropriate? What's disrespectful? I mean, because the reason behind the 2 fingers is to represent 2 wheels down, right?
Down, that's correct.
Yeah,
that's the myth or the legend behind it. Yes,
But I do feel like it's metaphorical.
So my analytical engineering mind's overthinking this.
Yeah, it's just a
Random thoughts.
what's up, brother?
Oh gosh.
Well, I will
Sound
say,
like my son.
I will say this. I will say this. If a Can-Am or a Vanderhoff passes me, I don't give it to him. How about that?
Oh, so now you're sounding like Yammy.
Yeah.
So you're too good for
No,
those.
no, I'm just teasing.
I mean, I do feel like
They're different.
if you're not going to embrace the Harley culture that comes along with it, they are overpriced, underpowered, overweight.
freaking amazing, aren't they? They're just great.
They're loud. They shake.
Yeah.
They're
And you can go anywhere to a motorcycle shop just about and buy parts for them, aftermarket parts and pieces. And you can't do that with any other brand.
so yeah. So I could see his point, his argument. If you're not going to embrace the culture,
The lifestyle.
Yeah.
Well, we've said that when
Easy.
we first started this.
Culture. We'll stick with culture, not lifestyle.
yeah.
Depends on who you're. Some of these guys like Adam says, I'm not really a Harley guy. And I'm like, are you not? You may own different brands, but, that'll be like me saying, I'm not a Harley guy.
I mean, true. If I could only have one, it's going to be Harley.
Yeah. I mean, what? Okay. So with that, this brings up a whole. So with that being the case, why? What is the reason that would be the only one?
So I think it opens the door to more enjoyment and more, I don't know, camaraderie, don't know what the right choice of words are, but
The culture. I mean,
the culture.
yeah.
I enjoy diving into the culture and the builds and the hanging out at the rallies, and I feel like if I could only have one bike, then I still want to be able to enjoy those things. And sure, you can ride whatever bike you want to, but I just
So Adam brought that up, and he made a big point of it. Yami spent a few minutes talking about the pricing and all that stuff, and Adam brought that exact thing up. He said that right or wrong, it wasn't the subject. It was the fact that Harley creates their motorcycles, build their motorcycles, puts them out there for whatever the price is, but they are bone stock to the point to where anybody can take it and do anything they want and make it theirs. And there's very few other brands you can do that to. Of any, I mean, Indian a little bit. Some of the other ones that even a little bit less.
I would agree with you for the Harley copycats. So yes, your Indian Chieftain
Right.
is going to have a limited parts and accessories catalog compared to any Harley Davidson. But the aftermarket support for the Gixxer is
Yeah.
substantial.
Well, it is for
Look at the
these.
BMW GS.
Yes,
I mean,
yeah, I was gonna
there's
say.
just as many mods and things you can do to the GS than as any bagger.
You're right.
Technology and all that. So, I do understand that argument, but and that's probably the case for the BMW. What is it, the R1800? I mean, your parts and accessories for that, or you probably got like 10.
Mm-hmm.
Probably have a hard time finding anybody that makes a set of handlebars for it.
Right. Or the Gold Wing.
Yeah, Goldwing has got some support. So
I
fair
think
argument or not, I don't know.
I think it's definitely a smaller, and we've said this before in some of our early on podcasts, but I think that it's definitely a smaller world for other ones. But anyway, well, guys, look, it's been a good night. John, it's been good to have you, buddy. Glad you stopped in.
Hey, one more. You asked us about stuff, but you asked him about his update on some of the stuff that since the last podcast. I did get a chance to watch y'all's podcast, and I know behind the scenes you never mentioned it, but you were avidly, at the same time you bought the Pan America, you were looking at a different platform motorcycle, and I don't see one of those in your garage yet.
Yeah.
I don't want to say what it was because you kind of held back and didn't share that info, but that was 4 to 6 weeks ago, and hadn't heard an update on that.
I had full intentions. So when I went in August to purchase,
So it was even longer ago than.
well, that's when I bought the Pan America,
Okay.
and I went and got approval to purchase the ST because just in case.
CVOST.
Yes, the CVO ST. I thought, well, then I could work my way backwards if I don't want it. I didn't like it. I didn't like the way it rode. It just wasn't for me. Now, granted, I didn't get to fully experience it because the roads were wet and it was a rainy day and all that kind of good stuff. So, but anyway, I rode it, the Pan America, and the Breakout. The Breakout took me back to the days of my KZs and that I rode that, didn't have bags, didn't have fairings, and was just what I would call old school motorcycle. And I just fell in love with that all over again. It was almost like when I bought these. And so that was the next phase. Well, they didn't have the color I wanted. And by the time they got it, well, the 2025s were in the conversation. So I told our Leah over at our dealership here, when it finally came in, that I'm going to wait and see what the 2025s have to offer. And if there's nothing's changed, if there's not any better colors or whatever, then I'd come back and we'd try to figure it out. A Breakout will be in here at some point. I did buy the Pan America. It's sitting over here, but I now have that fever, I guess what you want to call it, for having an old school, no fairing, no bags bike. And they make several different ones. I mean, there's the LRS. You've got one. You've got the Nightster. You've got the Sportster. There's several out there, but it's the fat tire, and I'm not a big Fat Boy fan. So in order to get the fat tire on the rear, and the Breakout has a 21 on the front, and the Fat Boy does not. So the combination thereof is very, very, very enticing and appealing to me. So
Have you ridden an LRS
have not
or a ST?
I have not. I'm plenty capable. I know it's not really that part of it. It is surely the facade or the cosmetics of it that I want to break out.
Because I think you would get that same feel and nostalgia of the
I'm
old
sure.
school bike with
Yeah.
the potential for as much performance as
Yeah.
you're willing to put into it. I mean,
He likes it when that ass is fat. Though.
Yeah.
but that is going to limit performance, so to speak. No pun intended.
It'll be
Maybe.
it'll a little bit harder to take that curve. Maybe force a little.
I mean, it's not going to carve the canyons like an LRS is.
Maybe not, but I don't know. I'd be willing to give it a shot and see.
I was just curious because I hadn't
yeah.
heard any updates on that. And you were pretty hard and heavy into it there for a while.
The last bike that I threatened to buy was a 07, 05 1200 that T-Town had sitting in there. We got there at the time that they pulled it out. And literally it loped so phenomenally that in between each lope, it sounded like it cut off.
Oh, yeah. They probably had that, what was that, SNS cam kit that they used to put in those?
The old twin cam SNS. I think it was like a SNS.
I don't remember what
one of
cam
them,
size
I don't know what it was,
but yeah.
I mean, it was thump, thump,
Yeah.
thump. I mean, and I told him, I said, I gave you $4,500 right now. They wanted $55 for it. He called me for a week, tried to come back. I got another one. Dude, I don't want another one. I'll bring you $4,500 for that one right there. Come pick it up. And they wouldn't do it. So
And Leah's brother wouldn't.
somebody. Yeah. I know he works down there, but
All you had to do was say, Leah will sell it to me for $45. He would have done it.
yeah, probably.
Little sibling rivalry.
There you go. Yeah, it was. And while we were in Daytona on our trip down there, I went to the Ride Now place, and if I would have been in the truck and trailer, I probably would have brought home the Fury, the Honda Fury.
I mean, this past spring or this past October?
Fall.
Oh,
October.
Those are cool bikes.
They are. It would have been just a sheer fun chopper-like bike to ride around. It's also got the fat tire rear tire on it, but it's chopper-esque. A little bit longer of a stretch than the Breakout, but it's got the 21-inch wheel and the whole 9 yards, and only about tops out at like 11.2. And has a few builds. They can put slip-ons on it. They can even do a cam on it and some stuff. It's not major, but it wouldn't need a lot of stuff because it's a bare-bone bike, kind of like the Breakout.
Yamaha had one too, the Raider.
Yeah.
It's a cool bike.
So I would not be opposed to having one of those just for the fun of it. I'm not a fan of the color. Honda only does one color each year. And this past 2024 color was like almost an army green.
yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't horrible. I've seen worse. But I thought, well, I'll wait a little while, but I'd like to ride one. I went up to the Ride Now in Huntsville when I got back from Daytona, and they've got 4 or 5 of them up there. And it was raining that day. I went up to test ride one. I didn't want to do it in the rain, so I'll go back up one day and test ride it.
So where are you going to park this Breakout after the first of the year?
And I got room. I figured I have to move the podcast table. I don't know.
Cool.
I got another shop somewhere else, other side of town. If I need to start parking stuff over there, I can.
Just curious.
Yeah. No,
I
I
got
want it.
room at my place.
Yeah, no, yeah,
Store 1 or 2 over there.
yeah. You ain't got much room.
I got room in my shop.
You do? Yeah. Well, I could put it down there, and then I'd just always have a bike to ride. when
I'll
I
tell
came
you
down there
what,
with
I've
that.
got my trailer out there attached to my truck.
See,
Got 2 chocks in it. I'll go ahead and take this Pan America and go ahead and store it down there so you have room.
for the breakout.
Yeah, since you've only put 600 miles on it in, 5 months, so I'll break it in for you.
It definitely still needs to be broken in and have the 1,000-mile service.
Monroe County has plenty of dirt roads that I could break it in.
I've had that thing torn down, putting those lights on it and doing all this. I'm talking tank, back seat, front, fairing. I've swapped the windshield out with the Madstad windshield system. So I had everything but basically the frame off the front of it.
Hmm.
I don't know why, but I do like it because it raised the display up 2 inches.
Hmm.
And 2 inches makes a difference.
That's the rumor.
So we're here. What time you got?
All right, sign us off, John Woody.
Appreciate you hanging out with us. Hopefully you will hit the like, subscribe, whatever button.
Absolutely.
I don't know all the details on all the different social medias, but Randy will hit that. But appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thanks, DJ.
Good to have you back, buddy.
Absolutely. For always. TikTok at Southern 2 Lane. That is Southern, the number 2 lane, all one word. And Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Join us. Comment, whatever you'd like to do. We're looking forward to doing more, and we appreciate you. God bless. Take care.
Hey,
Good night.
and Prentice with FDB. I'm coming down to Daytona, and